On this episode of ResiWeek, we talk higher-end TVs. NKBA is expecting a 16% growth. All this and more on this episode of ResiWeek.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is ResiWeek, episode 261, Truck Roll Them Out.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by
Atlona, the go-to provider for AV signal distribution and control in corporate, higher education, and residential spaces.
Welcome to this episode of ResiWeek. This is your weekly roundup of all the latest news and stories for the residential AV industry. I'm your host, Matt D. Scott for AVNation.tv. This week, I'm pleased to be joined by two of my closest friends in the business. First, we have Katie McGregor Bennett. She is the president of KMB Communications. How you doing, Katie?
I'm doing well. Happy Monday to you.
It is Monday.
It is Monday. So the people know that it's Monday. By the time you listen, it's Monday's long gone.
Would it be Wednesday when they listen to it?
Yeah, but I'm sure I'm going to be doing great on Wednesday too. So.
Yeah, we're supposed to get snow tomorrow, which means I will be doing even better on Wednesday. Not a lot, just a little bit, just enough to remind me I live in Canada. Then we have my good friend Joe Whitaker. He's the CEO of Thoughtful Integrations. What's up, Joseph?
Technical difficulties, dude. It happens to the best of us. Yeah. I mean, no. Fair enough. No, things are good. We're going to be getting snow this weekend. If national versus local could make up their minds and tell me if I'm going to get 5 inches or 13 inches.
Oh, 13 is way more fun.
Yeah, go with 13.
Yes.
Go with 13.
At this point, I'll take whatever I get.
The best part with 13 inches of snow is you still will find a couple of people, especially down where y'all are at, where they think they can drive in that. Yeah. But they don't ever do it. So they have no idea. It is so much fun to watch.
I know.
We get it every year.
Oh, and we've had a massive influx into Montana thanks to COVID, and it's kind of fun to watch.
It is. So last week, and then we'll get into the part of the show you actually came here for. But last week we had a day where we got 2 inches and then we got 8 inches. But the day we got 8 inches, we were expected to get another 2 inches. That was it. So everybody woke up, and then all of a sudden there's like 8 to 12 inches on the ground. And even though I live in Canada, I live in the southern part of Canada, where we don't get like snow, like deep snow, like everyone thinks we get. Watching people try to drive in 8 inches of snow, when that's the first big snowfall we've had all year. So we have a bunch of people who, they didn't put their winter tires on. Yeah, they'll be fine. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun because all I did was put it in 2-wheel drive, took off traction control with the snows, and just let the sucker roll. It was great. Went somewhere with my sister, and she was like, "Are you trying to scare me?" As I'm, going around corners. I'm like, nope, not at all. Not at all. All right, let's get into the reason you actually came to listen to us today. Coming to us from CE Pro, the Women in Consumer Technology has inducted its legacy class of 2021. So congratulations to this list of women. Couple of notes that you will notice on here is that Michelle Geis from Crestron was awarded this, as well as Andrea Hogan of Qualcomm, Elizabeth LaFontaine from the NPD Group, and our good friend Roberta Lewis from Roberta Lewis and Associates. If you don't know Roberta, she's amazing, and she's been in this business for quite a while. So that's fantastic. As well as Kirsten Rinitz, I probably mispronounced that. My apologies, from Admit One, and Carol Campbell from Logitech. So congratulations to them. That is fantastic. We are going to kick the rest of the show off with.
Although Matt, sorry, I've got to interrupt you because it wasn't Carol Campbell that won. And Carol Campbell's not from Logitech. It's the Carol Campbell Inspiration Award who went to Heather Squire.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry.
Yes, there you go.
Thank you. I misread it. I'm like, yep. Yeah, there we go. My apologies. I didn't mean it.
But Carol, congratulations to you too for all that you do and continue to contribute to the industry. You just don't work for Logitech unless that happened recently. But anyways, Matt, back to you.
I haven't seen that, but maybe. All right. Coming to us as well from CE Pro, 30% of all TVs sold this year will be high-end displays by 2025. Research is indicating that the revenue from TV displays is expected to grow from 33 billion to 47.5 billion in 2025. And that will be
Is that because everybody in the US has stimulus checks to buy TVs with? No,
Yep,
I didn't say that out loud.
No, that's what it is. What's impressive, and I was going to get into this later, but since you brought that up, what's impressive about this is there's no mention of any supply chain issues, which is probably
that we all suffer with every day.
Why those numbers are going to skyrocket as soon as they have supply. But again, we didn't talk about that. Oh goodness, it's going to be one of those shows. Katie, when you see this, is this just some positivity of consumers wanting the big flashy TVs and then getting price checked and realizing what that looks like? Or is there actually a push to see those main viewing areas replaced with some of the new flashy TVs, whereas, not everyone's jumping around replacing every TV in their house?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a few things, and I'll touch on a few. Joe, definitely pick me up here and fill in the blanks. But I think there's a few things, and one is that coming out of the pandemic year with stimulus money, there is, while a great number of individuals are still struggling to make ends meet, there are plenty of others who are not and have had plenty of expendable cash to take advantage of opportunity, however that may present itself, whether it's a great sale at Best Buy just because, or something happens to be available, whatever that is. There was obviously a lot of remodeling done last year and done so to accommodate work from home, e-learning, all of that. We know these things. I think though that as we're coming out of pandemic and sort of, there's like the dawn of 2021 rose, and it was like, oh, the angels sang and everything was new. And, I think that people will go and increase perhaps the spend on things just to feel better, feel better about life. But to take advantage of the opportunity that presents itself to fix some old technology. And so I think part of this, some of it is cyclical. I think a lot of it too is just availability. When you walk into Costco, just one of many major retailers, but you walk into Costco, you can't find a small display size. It's all big and it's looking blasted at you, right? You can't even get to the batteries before you've been presented with 10 TVs that are 70, 80, in that range and above. So I think it's just, that's sort of what's being fed to you, and that's what you're going to buy. I think it's just, kind of some of those realities. Joe, what do you think?
Joseph, what is the opportunity here? And I did actually have this written down as far as supply chain, because heck, you and I talked earlier this year, I guess, about, a couple projects where we had to go to Costco because they were the only ones who had stock.
Yep.
And our suppliers were, months behind. How much of an opportunity is there with premium TVs for us with all of the current concerns that nobody seems to really want to talk about with supply chain?
Well, that's kind of one of the big things is supply chain. I mean, me and you just talked about this, a week ago. Not even that. We were talking about turntables. I couldn't find a turntable for a client of mine, Brian, save his life. Finally found an NAD and got a call that they don't have that either. So I got to send them to Amazon or Best Buy. Yeah, that happened. But you talk about that in the display market, and that's where it gets interesting. Because like Katie brought up, the Costco's, the Sam's. I actually had that conversation with a client today because, you look at it and the way this reads, a 30-something% increase on high-end models. Well, first you got to ask why, right? Well, your first thing is new tech. Vizio doesn't have QLED and Westinghouse doesn't have OLED. So all your value brands are thrown out the door because they want those two new big buzzword, technologies. And, you come post lockdown, but still in pandemic, people need more displays now because now they need a separate one for the kids to do learning on. They need, more features like built-in Bluetooth for headphones, or those kind of things, or they need new formats. But then it comes down to the problem that you said, supply chain. So when I have a supply chain issue and if I have to go buy it myself or send them to Best Buy, not Best Buy, we'll say Sam's or Costco, the two most, pointed at, the models aren't the same. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the same QLED at Best Buy and the exact same looking one at Sam's, and then you wonder why does one at Sam's have 3 less HDMI inputs? Because they build one specifically for Sam's. So, that's kind of that. We're going to have a supply chain crunch because as we're seeing those stock levels return or us be able to order them, they're gone in 24 hours. And now we're back on that wait again. It's like, oh my God, there's still Sony receivers and a bunch of other brands you can't get. So when it comes to display, I do believe, this is for what they want to buy. Yes, the increase makes sense. I do not think that there's going to be enough product to fulfill that more multi-billion-dollar change in anticipated revenue.
Is that just a 2021 outlook, or do you foresee this going and pushing into 2022, 2023? Because these numbers are for 2025, right?
Yes, I know, going all the way to 2025. But I believe the first 3, 2021, 2022, 2023, as we move through what we're doing now with the pandemic, and things happening overseas. Just talking to people I know in manufacturing, I don't really foresee too much of a shift for a little while. That people are still juggling. They don't know.
Hey, thanks for watching the first segment of this week's episode. To catch the entire show, please click the link below or visit AVNation.tv. That's AVNation.tv. Look at this photograph. Yeah, I got it. Actually, he's worse than that, unfortunately. Hopefully we were recording that too.